Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And today's show is a very special show. We have managed to book a very important guest, Mr. Horacio Gómez from Sintec. He is the managing partner at Sintec, one of the managing partners. And if you know anything about Latin America, Sintec is the leading consulting firm in all of Latin America. They offer business solutions from strategy to execution to their clients. They're super big in data and analytics, and we're just delighted to have Horacio on the show today. Mr. Gómez, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, I appreciate it, Andy. It's nice to be here with you and be able to share with you, our Sintec stories and experiences with our clients.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Horacio, you've got an incredible roster of companies that you've helped throughout the many years you've been there. You've got a roster of world-class companies that come to you for your consulting over at Sintec. Let's pull the lens back just a little bit, Horacio, and just for those people that maybe have not heard of Sintec, let's tell them what you do in Latin America.
Sure, yeah. So we are a consulting firm. We provide end-to-end solutions. So we cover the entire value chain, process-wise, technology-wise, and organizational and change management-wise. We go back to more than 30 years in the market. Right now, we are established in Mexico. We have offices both in Monterrey and Mexico City. And we also have offices in Bogotá, Colombia, in Santiago, Chile, and also in Brazil. So we focus all of our consulting efforts in the Latin America market. As you said, we work with 500 companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, from CPGs to retail to energy to raw material, building materials industries, to any other service provider within this region.
This is wonderful. And Horacio, the Latin America market is in a big boom right now. There's a lot going on in the entire marketplace. Could you tell our viewers a little bit high level what's going on in Latin America and Mexico and South America with regard to the boom that you're seeing today?
For sure. So let me talk about the general business ecosystem that exists in Latin America, and then I will go into each of the countries, because of course every market has different type of challenges, talking about building successful businesses. So overall, Latin America, we get huge populations, huge consumer based, and in the past 20 years there has been a lot of work getting all those companies into a next level, getting them to use technology, data, be process oriented, forget the based on quality and one size fits all kind of business models, to one much more focused on the consumer and the consumer experience and the consumer journey and such, and then building from that how you actually establish your strategy on the back end of the supply chain processes. Now, just pretty quick, I will say overall, Mexico is one of the most advanced countries regarding the professionalism of how the industries work. Brazil for sure. Chile is huge. Chile is just doing very, very well, and Bogota has very niche and specific markets where there's a lot of opportunity for companies to grow, and that's where we come come to the picture and really, you know, become there's a term that I love that is, you know, we become trusted advisors, right? And it's a huge concept, not just to, you know, provide a project-based solution for clients, but really become, you know, part of a, you know, multi-decade journey of evolution, you know, of the business models. So pretty sure along the next couple of minutes, we'll go into detail on more specific stuff that we've done with our clients.
See, that's amazing. And Sintec is known for taking the companies that you're working with and actually becoming a partner inside the company, where you actually become an extension of their company using data and analytics to help those companies. And that's one of the things that has made Sintec such a powerful company and one of the leaders in all of Latin America as a consulting firm. So let's talk about what's happening in Latin America. We know that the personnel, you have a nice young group of people that have been brought up on the internet. The 5G and the internet connections are going much faster now. A lot of the people in Latin America, obviously, their technology experience is driven through their cell phones. So when you're looking at these companies that you help, what's sort of the big problems that you're seeing in many of these companies that Sintec comes in and can help them with?
For sure. So pretty much, you know, in Latin America and Mexico, same thing happened and around the world with COVID, right? So the pace in which we were, you know, gradually adopting technology to our everyday, you know, lives, it just accelerated, you know, very, very much. So the same happened here. And what we're seeing, and we are actually, you know, a lot of our projects right now are all about on how those companies enable their value offer creation and execution using analytics and technology. And let me give you an example. So one of our clients, they are into the food service industry, right? So they faced an incredible challenge because hotels and restaurants and cafeterias, they were all closed, right? So pretty much, you know, their sales, you know, flunked 85%, 90%, 95%, you know, versus last year. And so what we pretty quickly got to do is just how you enable a business model that can, you know, go above the, you know, the supply chain and now deliver to the, you know, to houses, because they actually had a lot of a lot of inventory, you know, that it was going to go to waste if they were not able to move it. So pretty quickly, you know, they develop an app and we help them to elaborate and build all the logistic, you know, model, business model to actually be able, you know, to do all transactions with that app on a very reliable model that will make them profitable, and also, you know, meet the service level standards to deliver to your house, right? So they would deliver to a huge restaurant, you know, 100 pounds of meat, and now they have to deliver half a pound, you know. So what do we do? You know, do we deliver in motorcycles? Do we use third-party logistics to do it and such? And so we did it, and we did it, you know, within 3 weeks in March, because it was gonna come out along, and they've been able to, you know, to pull it through and survive the whole crisis. And that's one of the many examples.
See, that's amazing. And Sintec is known for their precision point ability to not only become part of the company that they're working with, but their ability to analyze what's happening within that company in a very efficient way, because time is money. And you're able to get in and give the good data and analytics to the companies you work with, which is why so many companies, Fortune 500 companies, et cetera, are looking to Sintec to help them for their future. So if we're talking about COVID, which we mentioned, and we talked about, some of the challenges that companies have had and many of the changes that these companies have had to make based on, for example, talking to Sintec and Sintec giving them the type of data and analytics and the understanding of what to do with their company to make it be able to prosper in these tough times. Do these companies that you've helped, are they expecting to go back to the old way of doing business prior to COVID? Or is it perhaps that this new idea that you've come up with them is the way that they want to go forward in the future?
For sure, that's a very good question. So I will say that it will become a hybrid kind of past and future, business as usual and new normal type of a way of doing business, and it depends on the sector. So I strongly believe that service, sectors. And also some areas like finance, within companies, they will flip, the way they actually work, and for sure the home office is going to become very much the way to the business. If you go to the manufacturing side of things, it will also be hybrid, but it will be, a Pareto, 80-20, 70-30, kind of thing. And for sure, a lot of them will really, kind of encourage to keep doing business the way they're doing it right now, but just kind of now build it and organize it and make it more part of their core and not something that is kind of just for a few months or for a while, right? So much of the companies what they're doing is that they were able to pretty quick react, and keep up with the changes of the demand, either high demands or very very low kind of demand from their clients. But now what has worked, they have to really take it in, and build it so their processes now kind of go along and really make this a sustainable part of their way of doing business. So
see, that makes sense. When one door closes, another door opens. Oftentimes when that door opens, if you can look to some experts outside of your own organization, maybe bring in a Sintec or a company like that to help you develop into something new and better and stronger, that's always a good idea. Because oftentimes when you're so into your own company, you can't really see things that a expert like Sintec brings to the table can see to help you to get to where you're going. Exactly. Let's talk about the customer experience, because you mentioned that, Horacio, in Latin America and in Mexico. And when we speak to startup founders and younger entrepreneurs, a lot of times they get sort of all romanticized about their technology and about their platform, but they forget about the customer. They forget that the customer is the thing that really keeps them in business. And I know you've spent a lot of time thinking about that. So could you address how that works with your customers and how Sintec brings that to the table?
For sure. So right now our slogan is outperform the future, and I'll get into that a little bit. But years ago it was a market-driven value chain, and it's more like what you're saying. So everything clients do, it's got to be based on what the end user of their service or product demand from them. Right, and then build from that. So we've been able, to help our clients identify what market segments are the ones that they have to focus on and really, get a tailor-made value offering for them regarding product, regarding price, regarding service levels, regarding the whole customer experience, and analytics is just a huge source of ways of innovating and getting to know what really your customer wants. Let me give you an example. We work with what you will say is oh, I forget the name of the bus company in the States, Greyhound. There you go. So yeah, so we worked with the Greyhound in Mexico, and through analytics, we help them really understand why did people take their buses, you know? And it's not a matter only to get from point A to B on the smallest price. It is not, you know. There are so many variables that people consider when really deciding to take a bus, right? So through analytics and also their behavior in social media, we were able to identify different sub segments that our client didn't really realize that existed, and we were able to actually outbreak them and understanding, and then build specific tailor-made custom offerings. One of them, for example, was college students, right? So why do they travel, when, how often, and what do they look for? So the entire experience within the bus, having Wi-Fi, having Netflix, so they can entertain themselves, do their homework while they're traveling and stuff. So all of that was just a bit of an example of how coming from the market, understanding it, building a value offer, and aligning all your processes so you can actually deliver and meet those customer needs. Got them to really take their value offering experience to a next level.
You see, that's a great story, because in today's age, Horacio, not everyone, but many people are a little bit worried and concerned about where their data goes and who's looking at their data and what's happening to my data. And you hear it all the time. But this is a perfect example of what Sintec was able to do by taking data and providing the company that hired them to provide even a better customer service experience to the end user. So data-driven analytics is something that's good for the consumer in the right hands, in the right cases with companies like Sintec, because they're able to give you even a better experience as a consumer. Isn't that right?
For sure. I'm pretty sure we've all watched the Netflix show, the Social Dilemma, right? And there's a lot of controversy about it, but looking at the good side of things, I believe customers don't mind, to give you information if that's going to result in a better product or a better service, right? And you are respectful of their intimacy. It's just win-win situation between companies and their consumers.
See, I agree 100% in what you said, and we're seeing that across the entire industry, where this data that Sintec actually has a specialty in is being used in a positive way. And technology is like anything else. It can be either used for a positive way or a negative way. And the companies that really care with not only their business model, but a social mission, they want to do what's best for their customers, and that's what they do. So let's talk about something that I found very interesting, something that you have called Sintec Labs.
Right.
And that's one of the, 3 areas that Sintec is comprised of. And let's pull the lens back a little bit, because I found this fascinating that within your leading consulting firm in Latin America, you've got this component called Sintec Labs. So what is Sintec Labs, Horacio?
So basically what we're doing is kind of connecting the entrepreneur and the startups world with the huge companies, and making an ecosystem that actually works and benefits both. It is impossible for a technology or analytics provider to do it all, to be able to do business analytics, and then IoT, and then build bots, and all the many tech and analytics solutions that are out there. So basically what we're doing is kind of trying to understand what the big companies need to address their performance, and then kind of connecting it with so many little companies, successful, with huge potential, but that they don't know how to get, to those big clients, right? So we build this ecosystem where we, so there is, a need to understand specifically how the mom and pop market, which is huge in Mexico. There are more than a million, little mom and pop where we go and shop, just instead of a convenience store, which is more likely in the US. Here's just little mom and pops here and there, very pulverized kind of a market. And then you will find somebody that has actually a solution that will, for example, being able to get those mom and pops regionally and get their offering on a marketplace, so that you actually can go into the app and buy from local shops, small shops, but through your app. Something that, a small mom and pop will not be able to build, or, and nothing. They don't have the resources, they don't have the know-how, but now big companies need to address them. And then, these entrepreneurs have actually developed something that enables both, right? And then Sintec is right in between, all of this, and kind of a really growing and building, trust from the big sharks, let's say, and the entrepreneur world.
See, I love that. So that's putting people in motion that otherwise wouldn't be placed in motion into the technological world. And that's only going to be helpful for them and their clients. Again, it's Sintec providing a service by using this connectivity so that when it finally happens, the connection happens, the end user or the consumer benefits from that connection. That's absolutely wonderful, right?
Yep, totally. Everybody, gets a benefit from it. So it's pretty cool, and it's joyful to watch it happen.
It makes a lot of sense. Horacio, let's talk about process for a minute, because people watching the show, we have younger entrepreneurs, more advanced entrepreneurs. People are going to be listening to you, and they know that you and your team have built a large company in Latin America. And a lot of people would be thinking about process. For example, what happens when I call Sintec? How does it all happen? Who do I talk to? What's the process? How do they get to know me? How do they get to know what my challenges are? How does sort of the first few steps happen when a company reaches out to Sintec to ask you to help them as part of your consulting business?
Sure. So pretty much, we're really striving to get new clients, right? But also, if somebody kind of gets a referral, and kind of somebody told them that we've worked with them and the results that we've gotten together, they will, have a call, and with our tools that we have built to really do a quick diagnosis of the entire company situation, from the product, process, organizational and technology approach. We will quickly kind of deliver that diagnosis, right? And that will be kind of our first milestone to build, and then kind of build a roadmap, right? Prioritizing which are the ones that have more potential regarding the opportunity that there is, or those that are quick hits, or low-hanging fruits that they can really pretty quickly leverage and obtain some benefit. And then from there, from laying out that kind of a strategic map, we will kind of select, or the client will select where Sintec actually, plays a role when they feel like they can't do it on their own, right? And our philosophy is always, really understand every client's needs, because you can, jump from sector to sector and within, but every company has a different story and kind of ways of working, and actually, the people that work within could be totally different in their expertise, or the willingness to to be bold and kind of enter new markets and build new products, or not, and you kind of stay more conservative. So that's what we do, and then from there we built one of our biggest clients, which is Coca-Cola FEMSA, which is the largest bottler outside of the U.S. in the entire world for Coca-Cola company. We've worked with them for the past 30 years, and we've been really a trusted advisor in everything they've really done process-wise, and how to be able to really potentialize their offer within Mexico and all other countries in Latin America, right?
See, that's beautiful. Now, Horacio, there's going to be entrepreneurs and business owners watching this, and they're going to be hearing that Sintec does business with Coca-Cola Famosa, I believe it is, right? The biggest bottler outside of the United States. And they might be saying to themselves, I'm too small to reach out to Sintec, or I'm not that big. Like, what can Sintec do for me? Do you have a size of company that you don't go below because you have such big companies, or how do you sort of even the groundwork for the people that are a little bit smaller that need some expertise?
Sure, that's a very good question. For sure, having a strategy in any business, it's about the things, to deciding where you're going to focus, and also decide where you're not going to play. Because if you want to play everywhere, then there's no strategy, right? Or it's going to be very costly, or you're not going to be good enough in some of the markets that you want to attack. So we focus on 1 billion and up, but we have a lot of 100 million, even 80 million companies that we can work with. So that's kind of the size of the type of customers that we work with. What we do in labs is just connect all of those with the little ones, right?
Yeah. See, that's beautiful. So you're working with the 80, $100 million companies, billion-dollar companies, but as part of this ecosystem, you're bringing up a lot of smaller companies so that they can become part of this wonderful interconnected web of all these fantastic companies that are providing this immense service and value to the end client. So, Horacio, for the younger people watching the show, we have some young entrepreneurs that tune in, and it's not very often that they get to hear someone like from a managing partner of a company like Sintec, and they're a little confused. Maybe they're a little, tepid about putting their foot in the water. Do you have some words of encouragement for the younger people watching the show today that are trying to start a company or want to start a company? Some gems that you can say to them that might help them get through the tough times? Oh,
for sure. I love actually to talk to young people. I always am delighted when I get invited to talk with startups, or even at universities and symposiums and stuff. One thing that I will say is that don't worry. And let me tell you why. Because so I'm 42, right? When I told 50 or 60, because of technology, I might be able to become an entrepreneur, and build a new company when I'm 50 or 60, right? Something that maybe my dad was not really going to be able to do, a long time ago. So just being, in touch with the entire technology trend and watching what's happening, you can actually build a billion-dollar company, from an idea and really, leveraging in it with technology. So if I'm gonna be able to do that when I'm 50 or 60, so will you when you're 20, or 30. So it's gonna be all right. The other thing is just keep thriving, right? I mean, you and I, we've knocked on doors and we've getting, slammed in the face, but that's how it's how it is, right? And the good thing about, this world that is viral and it's so fast is that maybe it'll tell you, a shorter period of time to get those 3 or 4 or 6 or 10 slams in the door. and pretty quickly you'll get through it, and then you'll find, your golden niche, and then you will, explode and really scale your business. So yeah, yes, just, it's a matter of being on top of the trends, and just keep kind of thinking, how can I, do something now? Also, consumer needs are just rebirthing and rebuilding and renewing. So every new necessity in the market, it's an opportunity for thousands of new companies to be born. So yeah.
See, I love that answer. That makes a lot of sense for me. And the final sort of section that I wanted to get through, Horacio, and I've been waiting to get you on the show for a long time. And again, thank you for slicing out some time. I know you're very busy over at Sintec. There's a lot of companies, let's say in North America and other parts of the world, that are looking at this Latin America, South America, Mexico grouping of companies, and they're saying to themselves, I've got to get into that area. I mean, not only for the consumer base, but also because of the talent pool of all the talented young people that are coming out of the universities in those areas. So those types of companies, do you help them also sort of land in the Latin American countries, and how does all that work?
For sure, and that's great that you brought it up. One thing that might not be known for companies outside of Latin America is that there is a lot of information. So the basic to do an analysis is having data, right? And sometimes we really get frustrated because we do not have the data. And you might think that, because of countries like Mexico and such, my lack of it, we don't. We actually have huge systems of information, public information that there's out there, and it's a spread that is not well organized, but that's our, job to actually kind of, put it all together and structurize. And from there, we can really help them build their mode of entry, to Mexico, either, to a third party, do it direct, little by little, which type of service, targeting, which marketing, which geography, and such. And talent wise, you said that right. There's a lot of great talent, both local and also, like myself, people from Latin America that had the opportunity to study abroad, and then came back and do our professional career here. So for sure, there's a lot of talent to be hired in this geography. So yeah.
So that makes sense for CEOs watching the show in the United States or Canada, Israel, other foreign countries. If you want to get into Latin America and you see the potential and you're not quite there, I would also imagine that besides connecting with someone like Sintec to help you understand how to organize your company and how to get into the countries, there's also going to be this cultural thing that's going to be a little bit different. Tell us a little bit about that and how that is important possibly for foreign countries to understand how to do business in Latin America.
Sure. So let me give you a good news and a bad news, right? Or a challenging one. The good news is that in the business environment, you will find and face the exact same challenges and troubles, right? You will find very, very selected type of executives, so the level of discussion and transaction ability, it will be something that you will be very comfortable with, right? But then comes the culture, right? And how you engage, a person's within this geography might be different, and then the drivers and needs and what really makes them stay at a company, as an employee or hired, or partner with somebody from other part of the world. That might be the challenging part, and we understand that very, very well because we've worked, around the world. We've had, projects in the US, Canada, the Philippines, because of our clients going to those markets and kind of, bringing us with them as part of their, M&A or, platforms. So we've experienced that, and I'm pretty sure it is less challenging than in other regions of the world to actually do well businesses. Just to give you an example, the entire automotive industry in Mexico, it's first class. A lot of we've done it for so many decades, and which very good German training and American training and French training that came here and built their plants 30 years ago. So we've been able to develop that capacity, and that goes to their tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers and stuff. So, and that's just one example of how huge there is an opportunity for companies to come to Mexico and really profit here.
See, that makes all the sense in the world. Now, Horacio, I know I've kept you over our time allotted, but I had a few extra questions because I didn't know when I was going to be able to get you back on the show again, because I know you're just slammed traveling all over the world and helping companies. So I wanted to thank you very much for spending time on the show today. It's been a real delight. This has been a very eye-opening experience for people that want to both participate in Latin America and potentially get into Latin America with the help of Sintec. And you're just a phenomenal guy, and thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it so much. I thought it was 5 minutes, and it's been almost an hour. So yeah, I appreciate it. Very joyful experience.
Thank you, Horacio.